Is it? It's that time. Which button is it? It's this one, isn't it? Let me hit that, and we get the thing started. Hey there, friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be in your part of the world.
Greetings, my excellent friend.
It's so good to see you. My name is Jeff Fritz, and today is February 11th, 2025. We're going to write a little bit of code today. How you doing there, chat room? It is a Tuesday. It is a day that we're going to have some fun writing some code together. I'm getting all the things started here. I can't get away from dear Lord. I open Spotify so that I can start setting up the music, and I am right up front. Boom, Lady Gaga. I cannot get away from Steph. What are you doing? I can't get away from her out there. The mother is taking over all the internets. Let me head over to the chat. Let's say hello to everybody. It's right here. We're broadcasting live on Twitch and YouTube. We're going to start right here.
Tajik just resubscribed for 22 months.
22 months. Thank you so much for the sub and that support. Much appreciate. Sir Timmy with a big hello. C# Titan, good evening to you. Yes. Last week was my partner anniversary here on Twitch. I don't know when my partner date is on YouTube, but yes, I am a Twitch partner. I am a YouTube partner. Thank you very much. A little bit of coffee to get things started. I've got some Starbucks. What is it? Cinnamon dolce. I like that stuff. Robson Previato, good morning to you. Lanky Scottish nerd with a big hype. Hello. Let me come back to your question there, C# Titan. Good morning to you in Virginia, CTI Geek. Yep, there's the hat, and it's my Flash lightning bolt hat. Perfect for fans of the Flash. Wear it and feel the speed coursing through you. I don't know if I'd go that far. I'm going to get some music playing in the background here. I'm going to go to the Stream Beats EDM playlist, scroll down here a bit, and let's start here. Virtual Voyage, this is called. This is music that's DMCA free, royalty free. Listen to it wherever you'd like. Big thanks to Harris Heller and his team of creators for this music we're listening to today. Billy Cool with a big wave there. Mythin, hello to you. Dr. Cox, how you doing there? Smirking Squiggly, how's it going there? Hello. I'll back up to the question from C# Titan. What are my thoughts on using channels in .NET? You watched Nick's video, and he says we should be using them. Why do you think you should be using them? Why do you think you should be using them? Channels are a construct for transmitting messages back and forth between different layers of an application, and many of the other user interface and interface frameworks depend on them, wrap them. So they add additional features to it, like resiliency. SignalR is very much built on the concept of channels. So it adds resiliency, it adds the ability to fail over to other technologies and other connection types. There's additional features that are layered in. Channels are very much a low-level interaction with the network. Are you building something that's low-level? These are the choices that we make when we decide on technologies and techniques to use. You can certainly use span of T and memory of T constructs in building your applications. Absolutely. In my mind, that's a premature optimization of code that you might be working on that you don't need to be low level. There's other places to optimize in your application before you go and say, I'm not using strings at all in my application. Instead, we're using span of T so that I minimize the amount of memory that I use. Like, you certainly can use it, but it's not something that you need to be as low level interacting with. How you doing there? Is it Emo6 on YouTube? Welcome. Hey, Robert Tables, your smooth brain is always low level. Some of us, I thought your brain was always in containers. You don't have a need to use them. Just saw his video, was like, why? Exactly. Yes. Right. These are features, these are capabilities that are available, and folks that might be building clients, API clients that interact with other services, might make sense to use channels. Totally might make sense. For the most part, it's a low-level interaction that many folks don't need. It's a fantastic low-level way to interact with things, with other services and network endpoints, but pick and choose your battles. Is that extra 100 milliseconds going to significantly improve your application, spending the time to rewrite and update to use channels? Or can you update a database interaction to save that time, or add a layer of caching to improve that? When you're building libraries that are going to wrap a client interaction like that, and you want to put that low-level capability in, that's where channels, from my experience, are the most beneficial. What's the R in SignalR? I forget. That's a great question. I forget what the R in SignalR is. I don't think they ever say exactly what it is. Part of me thinks it was responsive. No, it's nothing to do with it. Why is this discussion on low level? There was a question about using channels in applications. So, but I want to talk about build tasks a little bit here. So the idea that we wanted to get into, the idea that we wanted to do, and we started poking at a little bit yesterday, and this was something that was discussed. You think it stands for real time? That could be also. I can't remember what it was. I thought it was responsive because of how it failed over from one protocol to the next, to the next, to the next. It provides real time. Yeah, I can't remember which one it is. So, we were looking at this idea, this feature. How you doing there? Is it Arintelar? Hello, welcome on YouTube. We were looking at this idea of, or is it RPC? I don't remember. It's a fantastic question for David Fowler. I don't see him online yet. I'll relay the question. Got to be real time. We'll see. Go ahead, take a look at the hat there, hat stand. There you go. So we started diving into this idea of test accountability, and the idea being, we want to write tests to exercise our code, to prove that a feature works, to validate that an issue is repaired. We do this with unit tests. We do this with end-to-end integration tests. And test-driven development is a fantastic practice that really ties back to this. And a lot of folks will write and name their tests in a way that it describes the feature or the issue that it's trying to resolve. But in my experience, there's a final bit of documentation to connect that test to it's documentation linkage to connect that test to the feature requirement definition or the bug report, so that it's very clear to developers, to program managers, to DevOps folks, to release engineers. Here are the fixes. Here are the new features, very clearly defined in what's being delivered. And folks can certainly write that up and do a fine job documenting that in pull requests, in commit messages. But what I'd like to do is directly tie in our code that feature ID, that issue ID from GitHub issues. Put a reference to that right on that test so that when the test report runs, we can see exactly that information. Lots of domain-specific languages folks use for this. Yes. Things like Cucumber, right? And the Gherkin domain-specific language to do the given, when, then types of syntax. No, Gherkin syntax it's been forever since I've used it. Anyways, so we started down this path of test accountability and putting an attribute on our tests, and we want to write a build task so that at build time we generate a little JSON file that lists, here's the test, and here's exactly the feature, exactly the issue that this addresses. And I see the nonsense on Skype is picking up. And I'm getting frequently pinged here by spam. So that's where I started going. And I have a little bit of code to allow you to decorate with that. But first,
Coder just resubscribed for 48 months. Yay,
48 months. 4 years with us. Thank you so much, Unhip Coder. Really appreciate that. Bringing that Prime subscription. Thank you so much for that support. So I put down this repository, and I'll create a project command for this. Assembling a build task to generate reports for test accountability. And test accountability isn't the final name of this thing. But the idea is here. And I feel like this is something that could find its way around to other technologies. Once we have a little bit of indicator inside of our code that says, hey, this test is related to this feature, to this issue, now we can automate release notes. Now, now we can, at continuous integration time, we can generate reports that say, hey, you broke this feature. Here's a link to the feature definition. So it's not just here's a test that you broke and it's called foo should do bar. No. Foo should do bar. Here's the feature definition. GitHub.com /foo/bar/issues123. Boom. Now you've got a link to go take a look exactly what that feature is. So you can look at, here's the test that's failing, here's the feature it's supposed to resolve, and away you go. And I've heard from some folks who work in consulting that this kind of thing would allow them to generate not just a bill of materials that say, hey, here's all the things we built, but here's all the things we built. Here's the tests that show that we built it and that it works. So there's an accountability, an automation accountability there that becomes very, very compelling when you start getting a little bit further into the process. Batman 9459, thank you so much. I'm chill. Okay, yeah, that's right. You like the hat? I might have a few hats. How you doing there, Eddie? That's a nice idea. Phyton. Attribute wouldn't be enough. So I'm doing this with attributes in .NET. Go ahead, take a look at the hat. The AI is analyzing the hat from the picture that was just taken here, and it's going to drop a message right there describing the hat for you in chat. There you go. And Johnny B. Cat.
Johnny Cat just resubscribed for 18 months. Thank you for your hard work.
Thank you. Much appreciate the resub there. We're going to hype train halfway there. 440 to go on to get level 1. Thank you so much, Johnny. There's the message in chat from the AI describing it. Run fast, think faster. This hat is a perfect tribute to the Scarlet Speedster. I like that line. Right? That's the third hat review that the bot has done today, and I like that one the best. I like that one. Yeah. Let me head over to the code and let's dive in here and take a look at where we got to, what's working, what isn't working, and see if we can get this moving in the right direction. The goal that I'm trying to accomplish right now is I want this to analyze a unit test project, to analyze a .NET project. Look for either that's maximized. Thanks so much. Look for an attribute that's labeled either feature. Come on now. There we go. Either a feature attribute or an issue attribute. And when our code is decorated with this, generate a little bit of a JSON manifest that has very clearly, here's the fully qualified name of that method. And here's the feature that it's decorated with. Svekos, good afternoon to you. 3 minutes to go on that hype train. So the idea then is I want to be able to attach this report generation task so that it tests. Yeah, so the using task here is going to load up the DLL that has my report task in it. And we're then going to be able to call generate JSON report. Let this, after the unit test project builds, right? We're going to call report generation task. We're going to pass in the path to this DLL that it wrote. And we're going to output a feature report JSON. Billy with a question here, can it be related to more than one feature? I think so. So I did decorate this with the feature attribute. I defined it with allow multiple true, so that you could just put multiple feature references on a test. My gut feeling is that multiple features decorating a test, a test providing multiple features might be an anti-pattern. Might be. Nobody has this tool yet, so I don't know yet. Right? It's kind of hard to say what are good patterns and bad patterns. But for now, because I had the same thought, Billy. This feels like something folks might want to say it's this feature and this issue and that issue, and be able to have a test that really is related to a bunch of different things. Let's start with allow multiple equals true, and we'll figure that out in the future. 1 minute left on the hype train, pushing for level 1 here. But looking at this, it's not building and working with this correctly. And I'm not quite sure if I want the build task to be in a separate repository, or if I should include it as a project reference. If I include it as a project reference as part of my test accountability project, then the report generation task, I don't need the using task. All the dependencies are already built and loaded here. So I think I want to bring it in to the same project. So if I bring this up here into there, right? So I just moved my report generation task up here, right? And it doesn't know what some of these things are yet. And I can take this, let's add a folder. Because I might have multiple tasks in here at some point. Yep, go ahead and move it over there. Thank you. And I need to now add... I'm going to remove this for right now. Yes, I know. I needed that. I needed that for right now. All right, we're going to end up over here. Test accountability. Dive in here and go grab that little bit of code I'm looking for. No. I was looking in here. I want the CS proj because there is... I want the CS proj. Really? That one. I think I want just these three, right? Not even. I think I just want these two. Look at me. I can't get enough Visual Studio. I got 2 Visual Studios. And I believe this is an item group. We'll just paste those in. Save that. And this should now start to have some of these things. Yeah. There we go. And then it was doing this whole assembly load test to try and load. Oops, all Visual Studios. You can't get enough, can you? I don't think... Well... Alright, hang on. Let's do this. Give me the loader. Give me the using statement. And then here's this issue again. Where it's telling me, oh, you... yeah, I made this net standard 2. Make this net 9. And this should give me a... Yeah, give me a concrete one. So this should now... Using system text JSON. Good. And now I should be able to, yeah, unload. But that unload should actually be happening down there in a finally, right? Try catch. If it fails, finally clean things up. Okay. So now that's part of my test accountability project. So over here, I don't think I... Do I need... Let's go back. I started looking at some documentation on this. Let's take a quick look at how to put the reference in. Target simple task. Yeah. If a project is going to run a task, MSBuild must know how to locate and run the assembly that contains the task class. Tasks are registered using the using task element. If your task has runtime specific dependencies, blah, 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 blah. Indicating the architecture and or runtime. Don't have that. Raise events. So it's not going to tell me how to use MS that. Okay. Task name, assembly name, task factory. So I should be able to just specify the assembly name because I've either the assembly name or assembly file attribute is required. So if you're using ads just started, we got ads on Twitch for the next 2 minutes. If you're referencing and using the test accountability, it's already referenced, so I can add assembly name then. Right? So instead of assembly file, I can say assembly name. And I should be able to just say test accountability. And this becomes test accountability.tasks. Report generation task. Okay. I think we're getting somewhere. Let's try building this, John. So, rebuild that. Report generation test could not be loaded from the assembly. Test accountability could not load file or assembly test accountability or one of its dependencies. All right. Hey, digital dummy. Check out the project command. It's right there at the top of the project message. It's pinned there. Confirm that using task declaration is correct. Well, all right, hang on. This doesn't exist anymore. Right, and let's put a carriage return in here, another one of these there, so I can see all that stuff on one screen. So why doesn't it see that? Go to the build output. What do we got? Yeah, the build task project does not exist. Test accountability tasks could not be loaded from the could not load file or whatever. And that the task contains a public class that implements Microsoft Build Framework iTask. Do I have this? Yeah, okay. Let me try doing a clean build of that since it didn't. Might as well pin this open because I'm going to be right clicking and building this thing a bit. No. Test accountability tasks. Here, you. There you go. Where'd it go? Okay. Hey, Elite Gaming. Why not learn C, C++, or Rust? Those are more low-level languages, and I can be more productive and get done things with a more general-purpose language like C#. If I wanted to build a website, a web application, I would prefer learning and working with JavaScript because JavaScript is necessary in order to build and run things in the browser. So it's a question of specificity in what you're doing. You're building a game, you're building a low-level tool, an operating system feature. C or C++ are great for it. It's going well. How you doing there, Elite Gaming? It's a question of purpose, and choosing a language like C# or Java it's a very general purpose language that lets you build and do many, many different things. Games, low-level applications that run on IoT devices, big cloud-scale application distributed systems that run on all the various hosted providers or you want to build a native application that runs on Windows, Mac, Linux, iOS, Android. Cool stuff there. So here, we'll run the project command there for you. And you can see a little bit more about what we're working on here. And this is a build task that runs, and what I'm trying to do is get it to do some reflection over the assembly that I'm telling it to take a look at, and then generate a report. And it's telling me it's having a hard time loading dependencies. And we're not even getting here. We're getting a dependency issue. If I take this back to net standard, right? Yeah, this doesn't work anymore. Why don't you like that? Yeah. Go ahead, give me. And stop it. And this isn't a thing either down here. But here I can do assembly, load from, and specify a path. And it will load it. Is that the gimmick there that I'm missing? Might be. So when this builds, where's rebuild? There it is. Hang on. Let's make sure this builds first. Yeah. Required my foot. All right. We don't need to look at these right now or that. Go back to the docs and see what I'm missing here. Hey, McNets, hello. There you go. Are what tabs linked? And the bot's analyzing, going to tell you what hat I'm wearing. There it is. To raise events from a task. So, I putting in using task name, assembly name, task factory. What's task factory? Specifies the class in the assembly that is responsible for generating instances of the specified task name. The name of the task to reference from an assembly. Okay. Environment variables, command line properties, project level, properties, project level. Items can be referenced in the using task elements, blah, 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 blah. Task name, assembly file. How to use a using task with an assembly name attribute and a custom task factory defined in that assembly. Under Visual Studio. These? It's like it's not even loading this. We're not even getting here. Well, wait a sec. Hang on. Task name, report generation task. Oh, target name is that. Report generation task, yeah. Test accountability tasks, report generation tasks could not be loaded from the assembly test accountability. Could not load file or one of its dependencies. Is it... So, hang on. If we open... Where is it? Open that folder. There's test accountability. Build utilities core, build framework. System runtime loader. Did not load that one. But I don't need that anymore. Let's see what we got here. Hey, Thindall, hello. Nah, hang on. No. Doing well? You know, we tried and write an application, suddenly you take a step back and realize that you've been working on for the last 6 hours as spaghetti? Yes. Oh, yes. What's daunting? What are you running into there, Elite Gaming? What tabs are linked? And there's folks in chat that can help with answering some of those questions as well. That's not being used. So why is it saying... that it can't load it? Task name. Right into the task name. The name of the task, if of ambiguities, the attribute should always specify full namespaces. So even if I yoink that, it should still come back and say, ooh, I don't know how to find that. Yeah, could not load file or assembly, test accountability. But it's right there. So it's one of the dependencies. But it's a dependency on net standard. If I change this back to net 9, just so that it matches. Still trying to figure out where to start. There's a lot of people saying this and that language isn't worth learning. Folks who tell you this and that language is not worthing don't have your best interest in mind. What do you want to accomplish? Where do you want to go with your newfound tech skills that you're trying to get started with? How do you load all those tabs into one program? They're right here. They're multiple tabs, multiple text files that are part of this project, this collection of projects. So, right? And when I click into these, you can see exactly which file it is as part of the project that I'm working on. So, right, as I'm going through and looking at the files that provide different capabilities inside of the program I'm writing, these all provide different capabilities. So I'm able to look at them side by side. I'm even able to put them side by side so that I can really look at them. So, Visual Studio is a very powerful integrated development environment, an IDE that allows you to do these things to be able to see across your code and work with more of it. And having my Solution Explorer docked over here that shows here's all the files in the projects that work together makes it easier for us to see exactly what we're writing, exactly what the components are of that. How do you put all those files together? That's what the compiler does. So, right up here, this will start the application and attach a debugger so I can see what's going on. I've also got build processes up here, and the compiler is just another program that takes this text that we're writing here, right, this programming language, and turns it into an executable. So, no, I don't think it's beyond your capability. It's you're new to this. You need a little bit of an introduction. Loco, hello. I've been good. I hope you're doing well. So, but we're down in the bowels, in the guts of how these applications work. Where this is not introductory that I'm doing at all right now. This is a little bit advanced that we're working on. That's right. The compiler converts this programming language, that code that we've written, into machine code that our processors know how to execute. Hey, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. But I don't know why that's not working. So, with respect, I'm going to get focused here for a little bit and try and iterate on this. I'm going to press pause on responding to chat for a little bit here, so that I can try and figure out what's going on with this. If I hardcode this to... Could not be loaded from... Could not load file or assembly system runtime version 9. So, okay, if I flip this back to net standard 2.0, locked. And that's just... that built. Locked. Let me close and restart. What do we get? Could not load system runtime. And is that... That's the task running. That's the task running. No. Occurred while generating report. That's the task running. Okay. That's inside. It should have written generating report. But I don't see it. But that error message is clearly from, because line 29 is the task. What am I missing? Task writing. Mm-hmm. Developers. Thank you for the follow. From Microsoft Build Utilities. Well, hang on. That goes up. Yeah, give me the latest. What? Yes. My iota. Come here. Wait a sec. Not that one. You go away. Really? Do I need to, like, go medieval here? That's what I'm talking. No, it still didn't do it. I am going to bust your face. And no errors. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to hurt you. 17, 12, 6. Bite me, MSBuild. Reload that, John. Bring this into here. Denied. Because it's locked. So I changed that to use assembly file, and we got kind of locked out there. If I make this assembly name, because we're referencing it, nope, locked. Recycle that. Let me see what I get here. Can I share the project that builds the task and tests in the same solution? No, you can. And there's samples of that in the docs that I was looking at. No. Man. Must know how to locate and run the assembly that contains it. Tasks are registered with the using task element. Creating an MSBuild task. Give me somewhere else. Because even this tutorial, you inherit from MSBuild, Microsoft Build Utilities task. Implement and override the execute method. Log errors. Generate a console app and use the custom task. Using task, task name, assembly file. Yeah, look at all that junk. And it doesn't reference it. It's sitting in a separate project. So maybe my other structure was correct. So let's take the, leave that at net standard. Let me bring back the other project. I think that's fine. What don't you like here? I'm going to get rid of all this. Okay. Now, not fire. reference the build output of the test accountability build tasks project. Go. Let's see what we get. I don't care. Write it in there. Not great, but I'll take it. So this will be already built and sitting there. Or not. 16.8. Yeah. Okay, good. So now this is referencing a static DLL that's sitting there. What? You, we don't need you anymore. This one. I've got 2 using tasks. You dirtball. You... Try that again. From the assembly, sample test calculator app, up, source, test accountability, build task, blah, blah, blah. Could not load file or assembly, system runtime loader. Which... isn't here. And even if I had been in net standard, it's not there either. It doesn't copy it. But hang on, I think there was a thing about at runtime, these will be provided by the actual MSBuild engine. But I thought there was a thing like, we need to include the dependencies of your MSBuild task must be packaged inside the package. They cannot be expressed as normal package references. The package won't expose any regular dependencies. This takes 2 steps to accomplish. Marking your assemblies as private and actually embedding them in the generated package. So add a package reference to dependency injection. Okay, I did that. Now mark every dependency on this task project with private assets all. This will tell Nuget not to expose those dependencies to consuming projects. Right. So let's take that, come back over here to this. I don't think I need that because I'm not doing code analysis. But and since I'm doing net 9, this is here. So now let's rebuild that. And now rebuild this one. Could not load system runtime loader. Now that's this extra package that I added. So there's something where the package reference isn't being included in the output. Its purpose is to add all of our package reference runtime assets to our package output. Don't include the build utilities core assembly. Okay. So this needs private assets all. And I'm assuming build framework is the same way. Deps JSON can be used by MSBuild to ensure the correct versions of your dependencies are loaded. Properties and targets, we'll get to there. Generate the Nuget package. Right, if I wasn't doing that, come here. If I wasn't using that reference, no, go back. That's not it. Comment that out. And just do this as assembly. Yeah, load file. That goes away. That goes away. I think that's it. So now it doesn't reference that external package, which I'm going to need to figure out at some point. Could not find part of system runtime loader. I didn't tell you to use it. It's not. It's not in there anymore. Why is it trying to use system runtime loader? That doesn't use it. That doesn't use it. Come here. All right, something's got it locked. So we'll close and reopen. Okay. Open the folder. Bin and obj. Yes, go away. Yeah, I know. What do you mean I require permissions? It's my folder. Darn Skippy. So now rebuild that thing. Okay. Async await on WinUI. System cannot find the file specified. Test accountability source, test accountability build tasks. Bin debug net standard. It's not in net standard, it's in net 9. System runtime. Son of a gun. If I change that back to net standard, change this to net standard. I need to, and this is going to run into the same issue. I don't know what system text JSON is. Ah, darn it. Really? You won't add system text JSON? There it is. But I'm going to hit the same issue. Well, I can't find system text JSON. Tests, test calculator app, source, bin, debug, net standard 2, test accountability, build tasks. .dll. Right, and it doesn't have system text JSON there. Let's go back over here because this sample complete code is over here. Yeah, show me the complete code. Custom task code generation. App setting strongly typed. Sure. Package reference build utilities core. Market with private assets all. So all of these, the package references. Okay. Bundle dependencies into the package. Pack the build props target files. Come here. Come here. Props and targets. The dependencies of your build task must be packaged inside the package. So do I need... Well, that's just it, DGen 1. Right, these steps here are going to include it. Which kind of makes sense. Which feels like these are... These are necessary targets, regardless of what your build task does. Right, so now if I build just this, can't access the file. Close and restart it. Okay. Net standard. Oh, we need to... And here's the props and targets. Okay. Register the task. Nice. Task parameters, default values. I don't have that part, but the rest of this I do have. Okay. Down in here. So if I had a new folder... And... Test accountability... Props? Yep, go ahead, change it. Wow, great job there, Notepad. Let's take all this. Really? And I don't need this. Yeah. Okay. The target is what's actually going to run it. Yeah. This is specific to that. We're going to add this target later. Do we write it? I'll write it now. So the targets file defines extra steps in the build. And we can use it to add capabilities to our build process. And that's exactly what we're trying to do here. We're trying to, at build time, get it to do something additional. And it's this. And I'll be able to drop that using task as well. All right, so go up to the top, put this in here. And we're going to... Because the targets that we just wrote... I'm sorry, the props... has the using task here. So MSBuild this file name. Why is it listed twice? No. That's the name. Custom tasks assembly is custom tasks folder. This build directory tasks. Okay. What's going on over here? No. That feels right. But that using task will register our task. So. Getting released to UAT. Hey, that's great. Congratulations, Sean. So now I don't need this in here. But I do need to reference the build task. And the build task we need to specifically include those item groups. Here, test accountability proj, we need to mark that as private assets. And these aren't app settings type, this is test accountability. Okay, that clears that up, good. I don't need system runtime loader. Okay, that builds properly. I'm missing some of the documentation stuff up at the top to generate this as a NuGet package. It's 4:30 p.m. and you're considering dinner. It's a fantastic idea. I do want to... Let's bring some of these things over and we'll... Title... No. Test accountability, authors... description... generates a report of features and issues that tests reference. Tags, unit testing. Copyright, Fritz and Friends, 2025. Sure. Targets for TM specific build output. Okay. Build output target folder, sure. Okay. DB, sure. So can I build that now? .NET Pack. Sure. Source. Test accountability. This one. .NET Pack. And I'll put it to right here. Add lib or ref assemblies for the Net Standard 2 target framework. No. Build succeeded, though, it says. So, what do we got? There's the NUPKEG. NUPKEG. NUPKG. NUPKEG. You're working from home today? Fantastic. Add start in 2 minutes here. Let's see, what do we got? So if I put this somewhere, right? So if I move source, test accountability, no. Test accountability, build tasks, NUPKEG to dist. Okay. So I'm up here at the root. .NET new Nuget config. Add folder, and let's add solution items, and I'm going to add to that an existing item, and it's going to be Nuget config. Ta-da. And we're going to add another source here. No! Local dist. And value equals dist. I think that's how you do this. So now local dist doesn't browse. There it is. Aha, it sees it. Okay. Norway is using dark theme. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, so I can see it now. Do I just add a reference to it? But with private assets all. Okay. There it is. Right. No. Private assets, all. Here we go. Succeeded. Did I get my file written out? Don't see it. I don't think it ran. I don't think it ran. Okay. Let's walk this up. All the sample stuff. Right. You can't create a project reference because I'm trying to automate and do a build task here. So the build task is registered with this using statement here. Test accountability task, report generation task, and it points to the custom tasks assembly. The custom tasks assembly comes out of custom tasks folder MSBuild, this file name DLL. In another language, it is offensive. But that's another story. So let's crack open this nupkeg and take a look-see at what's inside. Yes. So a Nuget package is just a zip file. Why do we have content types XML? What's in there? All right, I'm okay with that. Here's the new spec. Go ahead, open that with Notepad. Okay. Target framework, net standard 2. Okay. In the build folder, there's props and targets. And it contains the same stuff. Now you're not going to let me just open it? That's fine. Okay. Package, services, metadata, core properties, and then this thing. I don't know what that is, and I don't care. I don't see any of the DLL in here. Right? The DLL's not in here. Come here. So it didn't actually package this thing. Ah! So building that, and I'll go back over to source, build tasks. Well, it wrote it into, no, not there. Bin. It's not this version. Go away. There's the DLLs. And I just wrote them. There it wrote the DLL. Okay. I forgot to specify to output it here. Show me what's inside there. No, it's not here. Why isn't it putting it inside this thing? During development and debugging, it could be hard to ship your custom task. It'd be easier to include all the information on properties and targets directly and then move. What a pain in the neck. So this is right up top, using task, task name, and there it's reaching all the way down into net standard, blah, 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 DLL. And there's settings that it's going to set. And there's the task right there. Right, so it references dependency injection. So here's the test project, same type thing we want to set up. And it references the CS proj. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So how's it testing it? Mock I build engine. Whoa! Space shot!
Space Shot just resubscribed for 67 months.
Thank you so much. How you doing there, my friend? Tier 2! 67 months. Man, more than 5.5 years. Thank you so much for that support. Hey, Ramtenna with a big wave there. Hello. This doesn't make sense to me. Like, this is setting up and mocking the build process. Like, I get it. But why isn't this including the DLL in the build? Include build output. Wait a sec. Wait a sec. Get rid of that. Where did that come from? Take a look at that again here. There's the nup keg. How you doing there, Space Shot? What's new? There we go. Okay. So, package, right, and all that other stuff in here. There it is. Okay. That is a big number. Not gonna lie. So let's take this, right? And I'm going to replace, and go up one more. Yep. And this thing we'll get rid of. That wasn't what I wanted to rebuild, but hey. Did it actually do the thing? I don't think it did. No. There's Newtonsoft JSON. I didn't reference that, but let's remove this. I have a feeling that version number is messing with me here. Actually, where's the version number? Right? If I do something like this, then we say 010. There it is with the appropriate version number. Let's go move it around. And I'm using Explorer to do it because I am a techno weenie. Grab that, delete it. And I'm going to change. Now it should find that and use it. Okay. Did it actually do anything with it? No. Because it should generate feature report JSON. And I don't see it. So I don't think it's actually running. Use Explorer to do old-fashioned file operations that used to live in the command prompt for, especially now with the tabbed Explorer. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can make Azure Postgres service part of the Aspire solution. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. We do that in SharpSite, and we're trying to get back there, but this build task is such a pain in the neck to build. Like, come on, man. This is hard. And Copilot hasn't been any help on this either. Like, That should be running and reporting here, but it's not. Did I remember to blow it up? Totally blew it up. Developers. Thank you, David, for the follow. This is rough. So it put down the props and targets, and they get associated. The new spec that it generates should associate them. Right? So let's crack this open again. Right, there's my new spec. Yeah. So it's not adding the build task. It should be adding these. And I'm forgetting. These lines, pack them in the build folder. By convention.net SDK will look for build package ID props. Well, wait a sec. Test accountability. Test accountability build tasks. Two different names. So I need to change these to the names of these files. All right, we can get that. All right, we can get that. And then maybe it'll run. Build tasks. And we'll do the same thing with this one. Dot build tasks. Okay. So now that's updated there. I'm going to force the version update so we can try and test this. All right. Back up one over here, down into here. Come here, you. Cut that over here, back up one over to this, and paste. Thank you. And change this to 1. Now it should see the other one and rebuild and include the whole shebang. Aha! Could not be loaded from the assembly. Packages. Build. Tasks. Net standard 2.0. Test accountability build tasks DLL. Confirm the using task declaration is correct. Okay. Test accountability build tasks 011. Should be the same as what's in here. All right, so we were in build, but it went up 1 and down into tasks. Net standard 2, test accountability, build tasks, DLL. Yep, it's there. Test accountability. No, the namespace changed. The namespace changed on me. Because I was moving this back and forth. Right? Uh-huh. Back into here, do this. Rebuild, we'll try the new version. Grab that up here, over one. And I will update this to 2. Give it another shot. Here it is again. We're hitting the exact same thing again. Cannot find system runtime. Yeah. But it's actually running the process now. Yeah. This is the exact same error that we were getting before. So, for better or for worse, my packaging process that I'm going through here is working correctly. Yeah, we don't need a PowerShell script, but pack, move to the dist folder and renaming. Sure. So, right, that's telling me that reference works. But so inside the project, I'm trying to do reflection. So, reflection inside of a custom MSBuild task. See if somebody else has done this. Extend and customize, write your own tasks. Let's see if somebody's done this. Like, I'd love to look at this and just say, fine, fix it. Like, why can't you find system runtime? This is... Right, it's in the middle of running that. So I'm actually okay with it throwing that error. And then it should log the error from the exception, and then for each one of the loader exceptions, write that. And it's system runtime, right? Unable to load one or more, look at the loader exceptions. So here's the type, reflection type load, and it can't load system runtime. Like, of course system runtime is here. I don't want to bring everything. And no, it's net standard too. Why is it? Yeah. Does the task use the same .NET version as the assembly it's trying to load? It's using .NET standard. Not that one. There. And doing reflection from .NET standard should be a no-brainer. Should be. Let me change this title. So now what? No. With inline C. Interesting. Wow. External assembly. Somebody's got to have a solution that references external projects, external packages. But this sample that they give sure looks like, right? It does reference dependency injection, but I don't think it's actually using it. No. But even then, they're not hitting this system runtime load issue. Thank you so much for the follow. Right? Let's try Copilot. Let's try asking Copilot. Maybe it knows something. Hi, what can you call me? Big cheese. How should your voice sound? I don't care.
As a companion.
Shut up. Thank you. Is this going to work? Are we going to be able to use voice access today, or is it broken still? I'm trying to create a build task that runs as part of a C# project. Nope, doesn't work. Yeah, voice access has not worked for me in 3 weeks here on stream. I don't know. And I've filed issues on it, and it is just flat out broken. So should I make sure the example actually works? No, I'm not going. I'm not going to waste my time on that right now. I am 3 hours into this. No. I'm trying to build a custom build task for use in a CS project. My task is attempting to use reflection to examine the contents of a DLL in the output folder. Every time my project runs, I get a reference missing. Let's make... No! Get the exact error. I get a could not load file or assembly. Could not load file or assembly. error pointing to system runtime. How do I fix this? Check the target framework. Targets net standard 2. Update NuGet packages. No. No. That's not it. I'm not going to add a reference to system.runtime. What do we got there? 2017 cannot use system runtime loader. And I was trying to use that to do an assembly load context. No. If your library targets net standard, then its purpose is to work across multiple platforms. This is by design. You'll need to do it from a NetCore app. So here we go back to, this should be .NET 9 then, which ends up being a pain in the neck. So if this is .NET 9, right? This becomes .NET 9. Okay. Repack it. There it is. Star nupgag. Yep, there it is. And we're going to move it up one to dist. There it is. So now it's a .NET 9 version. No, locked. Yeah. Three, build net 9, test accountability, build task. Cannot load file or assembly system runtime. Yeah. Tasks, net 9. There it is. Test accountability. Build tasks, DLL. It's right there. Cannot load it. I'm done. I'm done. I've spent entirely too much time trying to figure this out. I've got other crap to do. This isn't going the way that I wanted it to at all. And I have wasted too much time trying to figure out how this works. Copilot doesn't know how it works. It can't put this together for us. The documentation out there doesn't resolve this for me. Quite frankly, I could turn this into a console app and it'll work in what's the plan to proceed? This was a side project that was supposed to give us, it's supposed to improve the way that we build and work with .NET the project. It's I've hit a level of frustration that it doesn't matter. I don't care about this anymore because I've got another project that I actually want to make progress on, and this distraction that was supposed to just generate a JSON file, it's not worth my time. Like, read an input argument that references a .NET DLL and read the methods of all classes inside that DLL. Okay, sure. You don't need to do these things. I don't know what the hell you're doing. I don't need any of this. Please provide a path if file exists. Path, file does not exist. Assembly load from method info. And that'll work. Yep. I think I want to do reflection only load from. Wow, why don't you like that? Reflection only loading is not supported. Okay. Fine. So I also want to put a reference to this in here. If the method, hey there, Quicksilver's no, is decorated with the feature attribute. Yeah, print the feature name. Yeah, do it. Feature ID. Not a fan of that. We saw we could do that generically, but read the note. What's the note? In the same MSBuild process, which is going to consume it, the new project should be in a completely different Visual Studio solution, or the new project use a DLL pre-generated and relocated from the standard output. That makes sense. And that helps to identify some of the locking issue that I'm running into. But even when it's not locked, you can't find the runtime. Like, I just want to get this running. Debug, sure. So the command line argument that I want to pass in is going to be... That'll take me to... I think I need to go up 3. Might even be... I know what to do. I'm not even going to try and... I'm just going to hard code the location at this point. It's this, it's here, it's this one, it's that one, it's here. This. Really? You're not going to give me the entire file location? There it is. Cool. Run that. Okay. That's the one I'm looking for right there. Well, we got it. One problem at a time. Absolutely. Right? So I can take... Let's take that. And can we not do those? Right? Can we do this? Here. You. No, I want testability console. That one. Okay. What's auto-generated program? Type that full name. Oh. Well, we don't want that. And what I'd really like is, it's like, I want the class name. Well, it's on the type. All right, so if I do method.name, right, we can kind of stitch this together, right? Right, I can do type dots full name. Where'd it go? There it is. System test calculator app, verify sum, adds 2 numbers. Boom. Okay. That's all I'm looking for. Like, even if the build task is command execute this, PowerShell execute this, shift right click and then copy as path. Man, I don't even think about that. Right, this is trying to do the exact same thing. Load file, but inside the scope of a build task. Doesn't know what the hell it's doing. It is a hidden feature of Windows, you're right. Avoid generating the task in the same build process that's going to consume it. Should be a completely different Visual Studio solution or a new project. Use a DLL pre-generated and relocated from the standard output. So if I just move that output from the... No, I didn't want that. I'm getting click happy now. Right, if I was down here in source, this... Excuse me. Right, if I just put it down there, right? And remove this. No. Generate report. Dist. Right. Test accountability. Build tasks. DLL. I didn't. So if I just do that, does it find it? Doesn't look like it's giving me grief. So then if I want to run generate report, after targets, right? Isn't that how I was doing that? There's the using task. Let's just copy that in. Get the task name right there, Fritz. Right. Report generation task. So now the DLL is sitting there all by itself. No. Cannot load runtime. No. And that's sitting right here. Test accountability, build tasks. Yeah. Yeah, why does this throw an error that it cannot load system runtime? See what it does. Is this project public? Yep. It's linked at the top there. No. 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 It's trying to .NET restore something that's already there. Yeah. It's going to be easier for me to write a script that just runs that console app, points to the DLL and says generate. And then I'll stitch together by hand the XML later. Yeah. Like, the build task is the right way to do this, but I can't figure it out at all. It's beyond my skill set, and it's not working for me at all here. Like, I'm not feeling it at all. It is not behaving right. It's not behaving the way I expect it to, and I can't find a way to figure it out. I don't need Nuget config. Sure, I'll add the rest of that. Tried a few things. Now running as a console app. Source code's updated with all the stuff that we worked on here. I did spend a few hours on it, so isn't it worth finishing? No, it's not. Something that was supposed to take the code that I generated here inside this class file took me 2 minutes to do. I spent 3 hours doing research and trying to figure out how the build tasks associate and work with each other. And the build task accessing reflection does not work. Does not work. I tried to do this with an analyzer. The analyzer writing content and as an incremental analyzer, generating and writing out a JSON file or doing some sort of source generation and writing it out to the side, the interaction with the reflection does not give me the runtime reflection inspection of these attributes. It gives me the text. The fact that I can't reach in here and say, give me those attributes where it's a feature attribute, it's linked at the top of chat. Can't access that. I'm literally looking at the block of text feature. Well, that doesn't give me the type that I'm referencing and trying to use here. That feels like it is incomplete and does not allow me to take the steps with this that I want. Doing this as a little console app, writing a script, a GitHub action that will run that console app, generate my list of related features, and then stitch that back together again with a TRX file feels like the way to go with this. It is swatting a fly with a sledgehammer. There are appropriate tools to use for this. I don't know how to use those tools, and I don't have the patience to go figure out how to use those tools right now. Make it work. Make it pretty later. Somebody who knows how to use those tools, I will find and ask for help from, but I'm not going to waste any more of our precious streaming time trying to go through and figure out why the build task doesn't work. Why it can't load runtime. Like, you're running in a runtime. What do you mean you can't run runtime? No, we haven't reached the limits of reflection. Not at all. I'm using reflection inside the console app here, and it works great. Like I said, generated this in 2 minutes, and it gives me exactly what I'm looking for. Bang. Right? Here's the complete name of the method, and there's the ID of the feature that I associated. Done. Right? The remaining 20% of the Pareto principle cost me 80% of the time. Yep. So I want to write this to a JSON file or start stitching this together with the test results that go with this and generate that report. Generating that report is a next step or two. Yeah. Thanks, Sean. I'm reflecting on the struggles that I had around trying to get this working has me wanting to revisit this and figure out how can we improve the documentation and put a second or third sample out there that shows this little trick of what is it that you need to do, because using reflection from a build task is something you should be able to do. What are we missing? What is that last bit there? And there's not enough sample data out there for Copilot to give us accurate insight on this. Ads just kicked in. 2 minutes. I'm not going to package this as a Nuget package yet, but the idea is sound. We need a little bit of help to get this working the way that I think it should work. Because once I have the JSON file of, here's the mapping of tests to features or issues, then to stitch together the TRX file, right, which is the test resource file in XML. to stitch those together, right? So if we were to right, and you can see this in some of our where is it? Over here. When it runs the tests, it tells it to use a logger. Right, here we go. No, you go away. Right, logger TRX. And I will go into sample test. Right, .NET test, logger TRX. What? Really? I mean, you can't. Should be right there. So it wrote out this. And unit test result test ID, unit test. There, sample test, verify sum, adds 2 numbers. And no. So I have that information. I can ruffle through here and find the unit test, sample test, calculator, verify, calculator app, verify sum, adds 2 numbers. And when I can look at this unit test and see where's the execution ID. Test entry, test ID, execution ID here. Charlie 1 Baker. Right. And it should say, it doesn't say that there was a issue with it. Right, but I can indicate that it passed successfully. Try from bin, not dist. No. It locks the file in bin. So it doesn't work. So, any different output when changing output to diagnostic level? No. Yeah. So that part-time Buddha, that was a little bit of what was pointed out with the link over here. That if you're working on building a custom task, you want to be outside the build process, which is going to consume it. So, and you should, the project should use a DLL pre-generated and relocated from the standard output, from the debug DLL location. So I wasn't doing that, and I was getting Visual Studio locking up with file locks on that DLL. So that's where I'm kind of stuck here. Things like this, I'm sure there's folks that want to automate and add capabilities to their build process. I know somebody who works on build. me see if I can get their help a little bit later and figure out what the piece is that I'm missing here. Okay. So that last piece, because I have the ID, the name of this, right? And it clearly shows there's the code base, adapter type, class name, right? Like, I can clearly find that unit test. So what happens if it fails? What does it output in there? Right? Like, let's force it to fail. Right? Fail. Value's different. So here's the second one. There's results. Test definitions. Execution ID. Here's the test. Echo Charlie, Echo David. 3 Foxtrot. And that's it right here with this unit test result. So I can clearly associate the two. And we'll know, right? Same thing over here. Results. Well, there's the test definitions, but the result, right? I can go right to the result. Right? I don't have to look at the definition because the unit test result has the name in it. Right there. And that test name matches what I've got. So I can go reach in and I can say, see test name, and I can look at where's the outcome. Right there. Outcome passed. And over here where it failed, right? There's the same test name. Outcome failed. So I can use that to stitch together my manifest with this. And then generate that report of here's new tests. Here's the new features that have succeeded. And actually output those links and information. Thanks so much, Thindall. Hope you're having a good one. But we still need to figure out how do we determine what's new. So we have our little build report. That's a great question. I'll come back to that in just a second. Yes. I think I linked it in here. Yeah, this thing. So this task knows how to see what's new, what's changed. How does it know what's changed? GitHub retries, commit. These are all the parameters. Dear Lord. Runs. Check for Python. Create virtual environment. Dependencies. Test results. Publish test results pi. But how does it know the other version to compare against? Right? Where did it go? It's trying to run. Yeah, install Binding Python interpreter. Publish test results pi. Right, I'm trying to figure out how it knows the difference between test runs. Parsing files, yeah. This action is running on a pull request event for a fork. The only useful thing it can do in this situation is create a job summary, which is disabled in settings. To fully run the action, see blah, blah, blah. Delta stats, here it is. Get GitHub. No. I don't think that's it. No, don't get the settings. I mean, there it is, setting up a class for this, dear Lord. Set log level. Import parse TRX files. Okay. Environment, no. Parse the XUnit file, XUnit parser. But how does it know the difference? Hey, Napalm. How does this calculate the difference in test results compared to a prior run? within the publish method, the results from the current run are compared to the results from a prior run, if available. Okay. Turn it into statistical. Publisher class is called with statistics, case results, and conclusion. Yeah, where? Import, import, import. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Import, import, import. Publisher, publish stats. Okay. Within the publish method, the results from the current run are compared to the results from a prior run. Hey, Justin. Hello. Within the publish method of the publisher class, which handles the logic to compare and report the differences. The results are then published as a check run or a comment on the pull request. So where is the publisher class? Here? How does this compare test to a previous run? See what it says. Get stats from commit, retrieves the test results from a previous commit. It'd be really great if I could click on that and jump right to it. If that was a link. Get right stats from commit. Get check run, commit SHA. If check run is not none, else none. Get stats from check run. Yeah. Get stats from summary markdown. Okay. So it's saving the statistics. It's saving the information about what it was, and it's just doing a diff on the numbers that it passed through. We would need to do something a little bit more sophisticated to save off the list of here's the tests that here's the manifest of tests that I know about in a specific artifact and be able to reference and load that. That begs the question then, perhaps that manifest, that test accountability manifest should be committed to source control. And then we could just diff between those JSON files. Right? Because we'll have, you're running a pull request from here to there. Here's the difference between the two JSON files in the list of tests that are contained, and we can clearly see here's the new tests that have been added. once again, not elegant. I'm swinging a sledgehammer here, and I'm hoping to hit a couple home runs. I'll even go for a single. Very doable here. Elegance Joker. Knowing that. I think that does what I'm looking for. Right? Yeah. Write the manifest to somewhere in the repository that we can reference and then diff against for pull requests or changes between versions, and inspect the changes to generate a report of new features addressed or new issues fixed. Right, that'll help generate that release notes. As part of a release notes process. Okay. More notes that I'm putting into this working concept. Yeah. This adapter I initially thought would be an analyzer. I thought I would do some source gen with it. Build test felt like the right way to do this. Good old console application is what I'm looking at this point. The console application then I should be able to run the console application a second time and point it to the test logger and get that data of here's the new features. But I feel like there's still pieces missing. I'm going to park this for now. We're somewhere. But it'll get me somewhere with this that will be interesting. There was a comment on this issue. Let's take a look at this. DGen1 with a comment. The user queries are far less frequent when I update identity user accessor to create a static PG sharp site user here. And if the user does not exist, get user async. There's a problem here. Can you spot it? There's a problem here, but I think we know what it is, and I think there's a way around this. Do you see it, chat room? This will work, but there's a significant problem with this. And I think you know what it is. Any guesses, chat room? This static makes this, for every instance of this class, every instance, the same user is referenced. Even if this application is, right, if this application is, this web application has multiple instances of this class running because there's multiple folks logging in and working, it's always going to find the same user. So while Jeff is logged in, the person who's in that underscore user field here might be Terry. Like, well, we're going to have a problem there. We can make this an instance variable and make sure that this is a scoped version, and it should drive down the number of those requests. So we can't make it static. Yeah, they won't pass. So let me change projects. So we just changed the scope, and we should get it. Now, this is in SharpSite Security Postgres. I'm in 06. Fix user requests. Bang. Okay. So SharpSite Security Postgres. Identity user accessor. And it totally makes sense what's going on here. No. Right, this is a PG SharpSite user. No. PG SharpSite user. And we're not gonna do that. Yeah. Yep, if user is not null, return user. And in fact, let's just make that one line. And down here, user equals user. I don't think we need the extra bang there. So then, see how it's injected? All these places. Where's it registered? It's already registered as scoped. So we should be okay here. Let's give it a try. Now there's a couple places where we inject user manager directly. Wait for everything to start up here. It's been a while since we've been in this project. There we go. There it is, loading up. Cool. Keep an eye over here. Go to log in. And what was it? Password. Didn't type it right. What? What the heck is the default password? Why did I forget this? No, not that. Oh, here I'm typing password. It's admin123. Well, nuts. There we go. All right, I've clicked around a little bit. We should see. So here we are going to the account manage page. There it is, selecting the user. There it is, selecting the user again. Did it twice there. On the admin page, there it is, selecting the user once. But down in... Okay. The admin page isn't referencing that directly. Hey there. Thank you. Alives777. So I just clicked into another page. Right, admin posts, web front end 4. There it's making a request for the user again. I'm okay with that. Second request. There it is requesting the posts. I'm okay with that, but it only requested it once. There's the user request, and there's user request again. I think one is me, and the second one is the... That's account manage. Let's go to that one. Yeah, it injects user manager directly. Get required user async. Let's try that. You're not hitting that breakpoint at all. Because I'm not on that page. Here. There we go. So user is not null. It only hit that line once. There it is. Can you give me a stack? No. It's not in there because we didn't do that. We didn't do that. got to be this one that it's calling it. Right, if I walk up the call stack. Yeah. So the second time it calls it has got to be somewhere in the framework where it's going to get the user information. And yeah, it's calling that exact same method. Which reaches in and does that. Developers. Hey there, Vim D. Ah, that's pretty good. How you doing there? Yeah, look at these places where it's calling that. Right, it's calling it a second time there. So here I am in user repository, different place coming in. So I can probably centralize these two. Let's look at the call stack for this one. So this is a nav menu. We can simplify this. How's things, Vim? Can I call you Vim? Can I call you Diesel? Can I call you the guy with who's talks for Groot? Let me know. Great to have you here. Well, there's clearly, right? Like, if instead, where'd it go? I just had it. If I instead injected that, right? Which I might have injected already. Right, and it's doing that. This dot user equals. That should eliminate calls. This is the nav menu on the side. Why don't you know what that is? Oh, it doesn't know. It doesn't know what that is. Because this is specific to that type. Let's turn this around the other way. Let's turn this around the other way. Let it use the user repository, which is hard-coded and over here. And if I put in identity, user, accessor, right? Why don't you like that? Yeah, well, I'm working on it here. I can eliminate those. Or, no, wait. No, no, no. Turn this into identity user. There it is. Now, it wants an HTTP context, but I have a claims principal that's been passed in. Go grab this thing. Don't need you, don't need you, don't need you, don't need you. Don't need that, or this. And this calls user manager get user async. Yeah. On context.user. So I can wrap this. Right? Context.user is a claims principal. So let's just duplicate this.
President Not Zuon just resubscribed for 28 months. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. How you doing, President? Not sure. Great to see you. Let's call this DB user. Right, and we can simplify this like that. Now, user repository can do that same request and get that same level of caching. How about them Eagles? That's right. My Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl champions. Love it. So good. We're real happy about that. And we don't have the context. Let's turn this into an exception. Come on now. Convert this to throw an exception instead. They deserve it? Well, I kind of agree with you. There we go. Try that again. The Kansas City Chiefs did not did not compare favorably to the Eagles. Dear Lord, they came up way short. Come on. You say it's running, but you're not running. Nothing's running. I'm at a breakpoint, that's why. Unable to load user with ID. Tell me more. Is it? This one. User is authenticated false. Identities. No. So what that was doing right? So let's look at the call stack. Right, it was in here, get user async. And the user that was passed in no claims, not authenticated. So I think we should try catch on this. And if not, fail. Yeah. That's okay. I'll let that go. Yeah, I know. But over here... right, so then if we do PG user equals that, but I'm going to wrap this in a... Yeah. Catch, and if it fails, no problem. Return null. Okay, that looks like it hot reloaded, and there it is. Go to log in. Logged in. Take a look over here. Yeah. But if we look at the traces, now I'm starting to see administrator. Here we go. Account manage 4 requests. Seven on the login. I think I'm all right with that. To get the email, 4 requests. That's the same user request. That's the same user request. It's getting user on those pages. All right, so here's the email page, and it uses user manager directly. And user accessor. Right there. And then get email async goes and loads the same thing. Better to check context user instead of try catch here. Right, we could also say user. The heck? Why don't you like that? Go down here, do that. So now, if there is a user, if it's identified, authenticated. I didn't think I could. Yeah. The principal doesn't have it. Have is authenticated. You need to go into the individual identity. But am I using a Visual Studio extension to show the author? No. That's what's it called? Lens. That's part of Visual Studio that has it. So that should at least minimize the request coming through there. What's this? That's okay if it is null. Yeah. But I'm still on pages like email where... No, that should be going through the same entry. That's doing... Like... I have this. It's right there. So why is it calling it a second time? Account manage 4 requests. And it's that same database request twice. And it's because it's... That second request should hit that cache and stop. So back over here, refresh that. So here it is. User is null. And that's the only time I requested through there. So how else is it getting in there? Well, if it's coming in from the other side, it would be on this one. So it's passing in a user. Yep, there it is. And this time, now it's saying the user is null. Hey, infested. It did a create scope. It created another scope. Inside the nav menu. Right, hang on. Inside, it's creating a scope, so it's getting a new object. So if I mark this as iDisposable, now what the heck is that? iDisposable, right? And implement that. We can put the scope, right? iService scope? No. Private, read-only, iService scope, current scope. Yep. Current scope. Dispose. Current scope equals. Now, why don't you like that? It's not read-only. Did I make it read-only? I don't want it read-only. Who made it read-only? Do the same thing. There. Yeah. Okay. Try it again. Now it's not losing the current thread. It's I was creating a new scope, and because it's being allocated as scoped, when it creates a new scope, it creates a new thread that has it on there. I'm literally asking it, go create a new one of these because I created another scope. Don't create another scope. Use the same scope. Right, so here it is. So user is null, that's fine. It's allocating it the first time. Come back up here. User is null, that's fine. Next time through, user is still null. What? Right, I don't want that second request. Right, when it gets the user, it's going to go get... Oh, it creates a new scope. It doesn't have the current scope. Oh, boy. Yeah, I could do the double question mark equal. Right. You're right. I should just pass this in. Then I'm not doing that at all. Really? Fine. You tell me I need to make that public. Do it again. See what we get here. So this should hopefully reduce the number of hits. Particularly when I hit that login page. Right, so admin at localhost. No, it's admin123. Get the password right here, Fritz. All right, so logging in, user is null. That's fine. Go to my admin page. User is null because I'm on my new request. User still null. Look at the stack. Uninitialized. Who the heck is this? So the user accessor is defined as scoped. So I should be getting that loaded in the same instance, right? No. No. It sure feels like I'm not getting the same instance both times. Right? Why aren't we getting the same instance both times? It's registered as scoped. So where's it hitting? Gabesaurus Rex, hello, welcome. Is the database context registered as scoped? Yes. I show you. It's a fair request. Add configure Postgres DB context. Add NPG SQL blah blah blah, and this registers it as scoped. Excuse me. Yeah, it's not in there. No. No. Right, this should be registering it as scoped. Should be. Looking to start C# programming, understand the challenge, but got to start somewhere. Hey, that's great, Gabe. Good luck to you. Yeah, see, nothing is singleton here. Everything is scoped. But that's why I had to go create a scope to go get my own instance. Because it's trying to execute too many things on the same scope. C# seems better than working a call center. Oh, as somebody who worked at a call center as a teenager, I was selling lawn care. Okay? It was not something that I enjoyed at all. Yes, I did push the last changes of test accountability. Yep. That's why it was getting scope in here. And it can't get and work with the same scope to access this. Tier 1 support for internet service providers. Okay. I hear you. C# is a great general purpose language that you can take and use to do many different things. We're building web pages here. You can build applications that run on Windows, Mac, or Linux, iOS, and Android. You can also build games, build apps that run on little IoT devices. You've got a lot of options that you can take that programming language to. So, depending on what you want to do with it will determine where you want to focus your learning, different frameworks, different tools that you want to bring together with the language. The language is just one part of your learning journey. That sound means I've got a meeting coming up in 10 minutes. Yeah, I've gone too far here. E. That doesn't look happy. Back over here. That's not. I want to diff. I need to get diff first. I think the identity redirect manager, we're okay to... But the user repository... Yeah. Sharp site, security, Postgres, user repository. Which means I need to use user accessor to go through here in some of those places. But I don't have identity user accessor. Nah, that's not the right project. Yeah, this isn't... Breakpoint. Like, it runs fast because it's doing a keyed lookup. Go ahead, take a look at that hat. There you go. Is .NET not C#? The other way around. .NET is an ecosystem. It's a whole collection of not just C# as a programming language, but there's other programming languages. There's tools and libraries that all come together to make up all of what .NET is. It's kind of unique in the tech space like that. There's a runtime. Like I said, there's a bunch of libraries and frameworks that you can use because .NET is very general purpose. You can use it for many, many different things. Where something like JavaScript, you use JavaScript to build web applications. There's other places you can take it and you can use it, but JavaScript also has a package manager. It also has a native runtime that will run in other locations with Node, which means then that there's a web server that comes with it called Express, and there's other folks that have written other web servers. So you end up with, you're using JavaScript, but there's this ecosystem of things that goes around just the JavaScript language. They don't really have a name for that. They just call it web development, but that's not the case. We do have that wrapper that we reference around all of these things that work together. Johan makes a great point there in chat. .NET is so flexible, you can even write PHP, the PHP language, and with the PeachPy tool, you can have it run with the rest of your .NET things. Extremely flexible and general purpose, what you can do with .NET. So you have languages that work with the .NET tools. You have frameworks like ASP.NET or Blazor or .NET MAUI that work with C#, F#, Visual Basic, and you could pick and choose how you want them to fit together. Folks don't completely understand and see how all those moving pieces can give you not just a little rock band of 3 or 4 members that are able to put out some songs, but you have a whole damn symphony that you can use to perform and do anything you want. That's pretty cool. You don't just have Dave Grohl in the back hammering away on the drum set. No, man. You've got timpani out there. You've got xylophones out there. You've got French horns, oboes, and all kinds of different ways that you can work with your code and move and do things with it however you want. It's not a one-trick pony here, right? You can compile to WebAssembly. You can compile to native code, ahead of time compiled native code that runs directly on an ARM processor, runs directly on a Intel x64 processor, an ARM32 processor. Lots of options for you. .NET isn't the director. .NET is the symphony hall. Okay? And inside that hall, on that stage, right, you are the director. And you have all kinds of instruments out there that you can choose and assemble to build your masterpiece, to perform your masterpiece the way you want. Nas is an ASP.NET developer with 3 years of experience. Do I have any good advice? 3 years of experience doing what? Give me a little bit more context. Not Dave? Okay. Mick Mars, is that... How's that for a reference? Right. Dave Portnoy. There's another good reference for you. Right? Not the guy from the sports website. Right? Lots of options for you. And what's funny is the folks that want to use JavaScript or some other language, well, we don't want to be boxed in and use only, the tools and features that Microsoft gives us. Nothing says you have to. There's lots of options out there. You can build and orchestrate and add on whatever you want. And that's, right, that's a little bit of what we're doing with this. This is .NET Aspire. We're gluing together different things here. Developing APIs with ASP.NET 8. Your front end runs React, so don't get much front end. Okay. .NET Aspire is going to be something that is going to allow you... You've seen me tinker with it, bounce back and forth in this dashboard. This comes with .NET Aspire, okay? So for folks that haven't done work with this, this gives you the ability to run... I have a database out here that's running as a Docker container. I have a pgadmin UI that lets me peek directly into that container here in the web. So I can see exactly what's going on inside of that schema. There's my public schema. Go down here to tables. And I can see all of my tables here. So I can even go into my users list. And I've been logging in with that admin user. There's admin user right there. And I can interact with it, right? Fantastic stuff that's built in. That's a tool that I've been able to add with one line of code to this. Right, I've got my website down here, and I can configure and pass the information about that database directly into it. With one line of code. I've defined the database back behind this, and the database that comes out of it, because I also configure database migration services. so I can scaffold and whatnot. But behind this, right, I wrote one line of code and it passes along all the configuration. There's no ports, there's no host names, there's no user IDs and passwords. It's all passed in with this reference to the database, okay? There's a lot going on here, including distributed tracing. That's what you see me bringing up here, so that I'm able to see, here's my website front end, and it's making requests into the database, and I can click on that, and I'm digging in and looking at the database statement here, and I can see exactly the select statement. This is a tool that's given to you for free, and it's in .NET 8 and .NET 9, okay? There's also metrics that this reports automatically to show you exactly what's going on inside of your application. All right? So as I navigate around and poke around on this, I can see these metrics. This is all open telemetry. None of this is stuff that Microsoft alone invented, okay? This works with tons of other telemetry collection systems. Whether it's Azure App Insights, we wouldn't mind if you check that out and use that. But maybe you are publishing your telemetry into a Prometheus database and you're presenting it with Grafana, you can do that too. There's instructions about how to publish that data over there and recreate this dashboard when you get there. You want to use a service like Datadog or SolarWinds, there's instructions for how to publish the telemetry over there and use their dashboarding to present that. So, really, really great stuff here. You have your plugged into Prometheus and Grafana, very handy. It is. It is so handy. But I am out of time, friends. I do need to wrap up. I have a meeting to get to. We've clearly got a little bit of poking around here that we need to clean up and figure out what's going on there. So, not that one. I want to be over here. So, we spent a lot of time looking at build tasks today here to try and do something with test accountability. And I ran into a brick wall with it, with trying to get build tasks to use reflection so we can inspect and bring back some data there. And it just didn't work. We're taking a look at how the user objects are being used and reused inside of SharpSite. This looks like it's going to be a bigger spelunking process that we're going to need to spend some more time on. So I think I'm going to punt this to the next milestone. We'll take a look. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll spend an hour or two first thing in the morning taking a look at a couple things and wandering around and seeing what there is to see here. Let me see who else is streaming on the Twitch TV network that I can get you over to that might be doing something fun. Let's go over and see our friend Lana. Gosh. Yeah, we'll go over to Lana. We're going to go over and see our friend Lana Lux, who is working on games, building... What? No, not Raid. There we go. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow morning for just an hour or two. First thing in the morning, we'll write some code together, and we'll have a fun time. All right? Have a great rest of your day, wherever you might be. I wish you good health and good coding. Take care.